My name is Stephen Paterson. I am 35, and I am a data analyst. Well, I was diagnosed at birth with autism. My parents were told that I would have some difficulties learning as time would go on, and some difficulties adjusting emotionally to and with socializing. My mom just kind of went to work as far as, just kind of keeping me stimulated early on and really accounting for that. Well, at home, she really tried to not have me fixate on anything, like maybe like a spinning fan, on the ceiling or something like that. She really kept me like stimulated, like whether it be like a program on PBS or, and then as time progressed, like books, stuff like that, just to have them around all the time. Those are my toys, you know what I mean? Like the talking whiz kids, the speaking math, speaking spells, stuff like that. I had all of them. She is, she's a minister first and foremost. She wasn't ordained then, so that wasn't filling her time. But she was a stay-at-home mom for most of my childhood. So, my dad had his own business, so that was fortunate. It was the early to mid 80s. It was really early as far as the awareness for autism. So luckily, with my mom's work, she also was working with people who I think they were doing that for research, like they were working on like their doctorate or something like that. So we got with some people who studied autism and just early development, and they gave her tips as well. Very important just to assess, where a child is and, and just really give them a chance to succeed. It was difficult at first, because just sometimes it gets out like, what you're dealing with, okay, he's diagnosed with autism, and, people are made aware of it, and, some kids are cruel about it, most were cruel about it, but some were just like, oh, there's this, like, I don't know what that is, and then just my own self-consciousness about it, just was like, okay, everyone's watching me. Not so much now, because now the awareness of it is just far greater than it was, far greater. And it's a blessing because it's kind of like a relief. Like I don't have to like kind of keep it in, But yeah, just back then, it's just like as a kid, just, knowing that you've dealt with it, and then as growing up, like if people know, like, like if I met like a girlfriend or something, like is she gonna be like, oh, is that hereditary or something like that? So those kind of questions, and you have to face that. See, no, I wouldn't say that. I think the hard sledding was more up front as I just started to socialize, in classrooms, whatever. I did kindergarten 2 times, I think as a precaution. Academically, it was all good, and when I was 5 in kindergarten. But then my mom was like, well, you know what? Emotionally, being around like older kids, because the academy was at like first grade was in a whole different building, so you're gonna be around all these older kids, as opposed to being around little kids all the time. So my mom wanted to make sure I was adjusted socially, so that extra year helped. it did. Just kind of just social interactions that'll come up, because you don't know till you get out there, what you're gonna face. I remember early on in kindergarten, I would have sessions after school, just to kind of check where my development was as far as retaining things, and things like that. So I just remember that around 5 or 6 years old, just to follow up, like after a day of school, I get pulled out like at nap time, and then go somewhere else and have these sessions, like speech sessions. I mean, it's just blessed to have that early detection, and then not only that, just like support too. I think support's really important, like, to know that no matter what would end up happening or who I grew up to be, I had like a circle of people who would support me. She earlier tried her hand at being a teacher. She studied early childhood at State University of New York. So she just took that, like working with kids, and just like, okay, what does he need, in order to kind of get ready for school when he'll eventually do that. And then, she encountered some people who were doing research as well.
Sounds like you have a great mom.
Absolutely.
Would you accredit your success to her?
Yes, 100%. Because just that unfailing belief in who I could be, and just her, she made me aware of what I was dealing with. She didn't hide it or anything. She didn't give me like false confidence or anything like that. But it was just like, okay, well, this is how we'll deal with it. This is how we'll live life from here. It's not like anything like, I was lied to or anything like that. I am married, yes, for 6 years. 6 years in August. Told her early on, when we were getting to know each other, it's like, yeah, this was like diagnosis from birth, so, and just how I worked through it, and because that would be a fear early on in dating, is like, oh man, what if? I would say that, I chose her to be my wife because she's somebody that, if we were to say have a child with autism, that to have the heart of support first, okay, and then just doing the work as far as what that child needs, and then just supporting that child through the process, however it turns out. Just, I would say, just be aware of, like, someone who values who you are, like, that knows who you are and likes you, instead of just kind of, and it's hard to tell a teenager with hormones and everything going on, but just like someone who's like really likes being around you. And that's the best way to put it. How I'll process something, like, especially disappointment, I just know, like, throughout childhood, I had a terrible temper, and it would manifest itself in pretty unhealthy ways, as far as just maybe acting out or hitting something, throwing stuff or whatever. And so I've learned to manage that as an adult, as a lot of adults do. But sometimes you kind of think to yourself, maybe, that might contribute to that. So you kind of just deal with that possibility. Like, life has taught me to deal with those things. And just because, you'll have situations along the way where, you know, you acted out and it did not benefit you, and it could have been way worse.
Right.
You know, and someone's in your life telling you that, like, look, that could have been really bad. You know, so, you know, just taking things into account, people, you know, people's feelings, you know, just like not taking things so personally, you know, because that's a tendency, you know, I definitely had earlier in life, is to take disappointment personally, you know, but just learning to deal with that. I think that's like a continuous. I would say just support is important. Get to know your child and just work from there. You know, like, this is who your child is, and just embrace that child as they develop, and you'll surprise yourself at what you're capable of when that's your mentality. I would say to embrace who you are, be aware of it, and, you know, and just know that what makes you you. It's unique, it's special, it's different, and we're all special and different, and this is your thing. It doesn't have to be a weight. It's just a part of who you are, and you'll surprise yourself at what you're capable